In this lesson, we will look at some of the words and phrases we can learn from the story of Rapunzel. If you'd like to listen to the full story, the link will be in the description and the first pinned comment. Let's start by looking at these lines. She felt unhappy. Her husband saw this and became worried. If you remember from our previous vocabulary lesson, for the story of the Frog Prince, we covered the word unhappy. We had said that unhappy can mean sad, but it had another meaning. When you feel bad because something is wrong. This was the example from the previous lesson. Here, the princess did not want to do what she was asked, meaning she did not want to share her food with the frog. So, we can see that even basic words can have a deeper meaning. On to the next. She said, "I really want to eat rampion." First of all, rampion is of course the name of the plant that the mother of Rapunzel wants to eat. This is a picture of the plant. Think of it like a vegetable that is grown in some parts of Europe. The other thing we want to understand is why. Why does she want to eat this particular plant so much? Remember in the story, the woman is pregnant, and often pregnant people really want to eat certain foods. So instead of saying, "I really want to eat something," we can say, "I am craving something." For example, "I really want to eat rampion" becomes, "I'm craving rampion," or "I'm craving chocolate." How dare you? This is something that people say when they are very angry or shocked by what someone did or said. In this example, "How dare you steal from my garden?" When she was 12, the witch put her in a tall tower in the forest. So, what is a tower? For my Spanish-speaking friends, when I say tower, you might think of something that looks like this. The tall building with your apartment. And that would be correct, because a tower is a tall, often narrow building. Here are a few examples of some famous towers from around the world. The Eiffel Tower in Paris, France. The Big Ben, which is a clock tower. Maybe the place where you live has a tower with a clock above it. And of course, in the story, Rapunzel lived in a tower. These are all very old buildings. Look at the years when they were built. In the 1800s. But what do we call modern towers that are very, very tall? Let's look at a few examples. The Empire State Building in the USA, the Shanghai Tower in China, and Taipei 101 in Taiwan. These very tall modern towers can be called skyscrapers. So, we could say a skyscraper is a type of tower, but a tower is not necessarily a skyscraper. She agreed, but she did not know how to leave the tower, so they made a plan. So, what is the difference between plan versus plans? Plan is usually used for a very specific or serious reason. For example, they made a plan to leave the tower, or they made a plan to save money. But plans with an S is more about fun. So for example, they made plans for the weekend, or I have plans for tonight. So meaning changes a little bit just because of that S added at the end. The prince became very sad. He fell from the tower and became blind. Blind means cannot see. But what do we call it when someone cannot hear? The thing on the person's ear is a hearing aid, not AirPods for listening to music, just so you know. The word is deaf. If someone cannot speak, and if they use their hands to talk, what do we call that? The word is mute. And of course, when they use their hands to talk, that is called sign language. Let's review what we learned today. The first word we looked at today was unhappy, which can mean sad or feeling bad because something is wrong. The second word we looked at is craving, which is another word to express really wanting to eat something. In the story, that was the rampion that the mother wanted to eat. Next, we looked at a phrase, how dare you? How dare you is a phrase used to express when somebody is shocked or angry about something. The other word was tower, and we learned that a really tall tower is called a skyscraper. We also looked at plan versus plans. So plan is for something serious, plans are for fun. And lastly, we learned the word blind, which means when somebody cannot see. And we also learned the words deaf for when someone cannot hear, and mute for when someone cannot speak and uses their hands to speak instead, using sign language. Now it's time for you to practice. What word or phrase was new to you? Try to use it with an English-speaking friend, then come back to the comments and tell me how that went. Thanks for watching. Now that you understand these words from the story, watch the story again and see how much more you understand. Or continue with your next story.